Welcome to Section 31, episode number 265. I'm Dan Hammond.
And I'm Rogue Schindler.
It's been a few weeks since we've had one of these shows, so we're going to recover what we did last weekend? 2 weekends ago?
Yes. I know it seems like longer.
It was a blur.
Yeah.
We went to the Star Wars celebration. I did a couple of races. You ran a stage and got to see a couple of things. Last weekend, we actually did get together for Star Trek. We put together a bunch of promos. Although, man, we worked from start to finish. We didn't actually break for tribbles. I think we break for food, and that was about it.
Yeah, we went straight through. Well, we had a full crew. Sometimes we don't.
Yeah, that was nice to have. James Whitney showed up, and Brian, and you, and Charlie, and Matt, and Top TV, and myself. So we had a good kind of a throughput. You know, we were able to get churn through a lot. New kits are up in the promenade, so order them while they're hot, and I'll be adding a few more. I just added, I think I added a half dozen yesterday or this morning, and once I get a good count of what we finished, I'll put the rest up. But we should have tribbles for days, and we should have 2 kits for a while as well. Excellent. Yeah, we also, I don't know if you saw the Twitter. There is it looks like a tribbles promo, which looks pretty awesome, that Charlie put up on the Continuing Committee Trek CCG Twitter page. So that's pretty cool.
I did not see that. What is it?
Looks like Quark doing this.
Okay.
Yeah, so we put those together. Yeah, should be good for a while. I think we're going to put together another. I don't think we have another meeting scheduled until June. We're going to try to get together sometime in May to make a few more 2-week quits because it's probably going to run out. But yeah, it was a good day. Good day, and you could tell we were having a good time because we didn't stop to play tribbles. We were just having a good time chatting with each other and talking about various things, and you know, that's pretty good to see.
Yeah, it flew right by.
Right. I would say that what we talked about the most was all the events that happened the previous week, right?
Yes, because at least half of us were there, and everybody else was kind of interested. So we kind of recounted, the highlights, a few lowlights, but mostly highlights. You had the Bounty Hunt, which is a spin-off version of the Rocket Race, right?
Yeah.
You did that 3 days.
We did that Thursday, Friday night, and Sunday. Sunday for families is what we called it. It's 1, 2, 3, or 4, usually 2 or 3 or 4 person teams. You get a packet of clues, and they'll lead you somewhere around the convention center or surrounding area. If you solve one, it'll tell you where to go, and then you get your passport stamped. And that was the greatest thing. We got these passports that we had printed up, and they look great. And on the inside, there's spaces for stamps where you get, various interplanetary stamps, Tatooine and all those other things that we've had made. So you chunk, and at the end, you got this passport that looks like you've been all over the galaxy. Awesome. And you get to solve a bunch of puzzles along the way. We had capacity for 100 teams. We had 60 signups beforehand, but fortunately this year we were a little off the beaten path. I think that hurt our numbers a little bit, but I think we average about 65 teams a night, and that means 65 times 4 is about maybe 200, 250 people throughout, filling up our room, running around the convention center, sprinting from place to place, racking their brains trying to solve obscure puzzles, and kids doing mazes and connecting the dots, that kind of thing. It was a lot of fun.
I have to admit, after seeing the passports, that right before the race, we had spent a couple of weeks, testing puzzles that you guys were writing and such, and I was like, man, now I want to run this race. I want to get a passport and get all these stamps. That's awesome.
And not only that, we had Del Rey and what's the other, DK books and Think Geek and all kind. We had bags of holding to give away and just all kinds of swag. Nice. We had the stand-up that we used for the Blaster Challenge giveaway, and we had trophies to give out. We had a lot of stuff to give away. We gave away things to the top 5 teams, like Star Wars floor mats and belts and hats and cups and all kinds of weird stuff. shirts, and I have lots of
That's
stuff to give
cool.
away. And on the kids and family day, we had the top 10 teams all got something. So it was a fantastic weekend for us. We had a very successful weekend. Um, a lot of people came up to us and said, this is the best thing we've had, like on Sunday, this is the best thing we've seen all weekend, or, this is race, we're coming back for the next one. And a couple of the folks that did the race apparently go to or help pitch in for the Salt Lake City, a Comic-Con in Colorado area, and they've expressed interest in doing a race over there. So who knows what the future will bring. Maybe we'll get to do another race. That'd be fun.
Awesome. That'd be great.
And
Well,
meanwhile,
I was gonna say, as much as I wanted to participate in that, I don't know when I would have or with what energy, because we working. Caitlin and I were both working the digital stage. There's a number of stages at Celebration, I think 3 or 4, where they have different events all day. And digital stage is sort of like the secondary stage. Celebration stage is the main stage. That's where you see Mark Hamill and J.J. Abrams and all the big shots. Digital stage is kind of like the video game / animation stage. So I actually think I like it better than the Celebration stage. We get to see a lot of really cool stuff. All of the Clone Wars and Rebels related panels were at the digital stage. We had a lot of video game previews. There was an epic Battlefront preview Friday morning that was like super ninja secret, and they had flown in media, gaming media from all over the world to come see it, and it was pretty amazing. I gotta say, it was really loud, but it was really cool, and they gave out shirts. And I think probably the coolest thing about it, I'm sure anybody who cares has seen the new movie trailer by now, right?
I might have watched it today.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of views there. But that big sprawling opening sequence where you're watching the little speeder go across the desert, and you're like, oh look, it's this big triangular mountain coming into view. Wait, no, it's a crashed Star Destroyer. And they say that this is like, and then there's, I think it was the 4th or 5th time before I noticed the little crashed X-wing in the foreground, because I was too busy staring at the giant Star Destroyer. But apparently the planet Jakku is the site of a big epic battle at some point, which is where all these ships crash from. And a week before the movie comes out, Battlefront EA is going to release an extra adventure or a battle or whatever storyline that you can play a week before the movie, called the Battle of Jakku, which is where all these ships came from. So I'm looking at PS4s now and pricing those out.
Yeah, I want to say that I played some of the old Battlefronts, maybe. Is that something that we played, over a LAN party?
I don't think so. I think that was more of I think that came out after we had done that. It wasn't in the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter era. I think the last thing there was Battlegrounds, which was the RTS.
Oh, I bet that's what I'm thinking of. Is that the one with the remixed John Williams music with? Yeah.
Yeah, that guitar Imperial March, which was amazing. But no, Battlefront was a console game, and it was kind of FPS based, but you could scroll back and be in third person if you didn't want to, turn your brain into jelly.
Yes, I did play a bit of that because, and I did not have a lot of fun with it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know you don't get along with first-person shooters very well, but it looks really cool. If nothing else, I want to watch somebody play through the Jakku level just to get to the story before the movie comes out. It sounds like it'll be cool. But yeah, there was all kinds of amazing stuff. One of the great things about working for me at Celebration, because we do work the stage, is it's pre-con, very low stress. because I'm not working on a costume because I'm not going to have time to wear them. I don't even have to worry about what I'm going to wear because we're in all blacks to be backstage all weekend. I don't have to worry about what panels I'm going to go to because I'm going to be at that stage watching those panels and helping out. And I don't have to really worry about what to eat because they just bring us food because we're working all the time. So it was a lot of energy at the time, but not a lot of energy, beforehand. So coming off of WonderCon, where it was the complete opposite. It was kind of nice to just, pack my bags and go, work a stage for several weeks or several days, and really had a good time and got to see some really great stuff with Dave Filoni and Pablo Hidalgo talking about Clone Wars, and we got to see the Rebels season 2 premiere, which is freaking amazing. If you watch Rebels at all or are interested, I really highly recommend it. I know season 1 kind of has a slow start, but it ramps up pretty well, and I think the second half is really good, and season 2 is going to be amazing. They released the season 2 trailer at one of the panels, and I think one of the things we talked about a lot yesterday or the day before while we were making cards was how amazing it was to hear James Earl Jones as Darth Vader again, which just adds such an amazing level of depth and holy crap fear to seeing Vader on screen again. Really, really impactful and amazing. James Earl Jones is awesome, so it's not like he's going to turn in a bad performance. So that in itself it was a huge highlight. But it was all awesome. I think I told you I was excited about the Lego. There's going to be a new Lego show, Star Wars Lego animated series, like a short series called Droid Tales, which is basically just C-3PO telling the story at the end, in the Ewok village after all the battle's over, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't know you fought in the Clone Wars, 3PO." And they're like, "Oh yes, let me tell you." And it's like he's telling the Ewoks, only he's telling the story to the heroes of like the prequels and on through the saga. But it's all in Lego form, and it's got that Lego sense of humor. So
Yeah,
if you're like,
I read somewhere that they're going to do all the movies, I guess, at least episodes 4, 5, and 6 in Lego, just to do it, to
Yep.
release for kids, so that kids who are 3 and 4 can still go have a good time at Force Awakens.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that'd be great. I know the Lego. I don't know if this is that or if this is like a ancillary to that, but it looks really cool, and it's got that Lego sense of humor. If you're like my wife, who kind of liked the Lego games but really liked the Lego cutscenes, this is kind of like just watching the cutscenes without having to go through the business of playing the game. I think my favorite part was Darth Maul coming out with his double-bladed lightsaber and kind of singing his own theme song along with his lightsaber ignites, and he's singing along to Duel of Fates, and he's like, "Awesome!" And the other blade shoots out, and he's like, "Awesome! Awesome! 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 Awesome!"
It's epic. Yeah, we've been trying to figure out whether or not Empire Strikes Back is too dark for Cordelia to watch, because she just turned 6. It's got to be right there.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be watching a little bit of Last Airbender, and there's still a lot of turning away and hiding at the the scary duel part. So I don't know how it's going to be.
Well, at that age, I guess a couple of months can make a big difference, and you got a little bit of time. I know
We
you
do.
were talking. You're going to try and get through all 6 or the 5 and 6 before 7.
Yeah, I love the idea of watching. When we watch Star Wars, I love the idea of watching Empire and then going back and doing 1, 2, 3, and then doing Jedi.
Nice.
I mean that it's a perfect order. It's great. You do, with the special editions, you lose some of the surprise factor of I'm your father, etc., because they have that hologram communication, with Vader and the Emperor, where he kind of spells it out. But that kind of that detail is in such, it's in the consciousness right now. I'm sure if I asked her point blank who's Darth Vader, who's Luke's father, she'd probably know who it is. I just haven't, we haven't gone down that line yet.
Right. I mean,
So,
doesn't she have the little book, the kids book that's like father,
well,
Vader and son?
it's Vader and son. So every time we read it, that's not Luke, that's son. See, we haven't
Nice.
directly connected the dots. But yeah, and so the decision is: do we just watch Star Wars Empire and Jedi and then use that to go into Episode 7, or do we go Star Wars Empire and then do the prequels and then do if it were an adult I was showing the Star Wars movies to for the first time, that's probably the order I would do it. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Maybe even
Yeah.
skipping Episode 1. However, Episode 1 is was made for kids anyway, so it'd be kind of silly to skip that. I don't know. Like you said, I got a few months. But,
yeah, I mean, well, if certainly if you're going to insert the prequels, you probably want to think about doing it sooner rather than later. But
yeah, that Episode 3 is going to be pretty rough.
yeah, at least, well, and you've got the longest, well, not the longest, but more time to get to that. At least with Empire, like I was noticing at one of the panels that was talking about the music of Empire last weekend that the dual scene with Vader is kind of intercut with other things that are going on in Cloud City. So it's not one long stretch of intense, face-off adversarial, Darth Vader is going to kill Luke thing. So it's kind of a break in the action that hopefully might release some of the tension.
Yeah, thinking back, I remember Return of the Jedi has the same thing in the second duel. He's doing Luke while they're doing the space battle, while they're doing the Endor battle, which, awesome. But man, I remember being just terrified of that that duel on the Death Star too. I got to think back of how old I was and how terrified I was. See whether or not we should put the girl through that or not. But like you said, we've got at least 3 months until we really have to start making some hard decisions.
Right.
But, how long we got to space it out. And maybe the Lego thing will answer all the questions. We can just watch that. It'll be nice and cute, and it'll set up everything. Don't have to worry about any of the details.
Cool. I'm looking at my list. I had to make a list because I was so exhausted. When I thought we were going to record this last week, I don't even know if I'm going to remember everything. But yeah, they talked about my new favorite movie, featuring me as well.
Yes. Rogue Schindler 1.
Yes, I think I'm looking forward to my my debut in an X-wing. That'll be cool. Man, I did not get to see that because that was on main stage, but I went back and watched it later. Did you see that teaser trailer?
I did. I saw it on somebody's Facebook page before the LFL guys pulled it everywhere. That was quite amazing.
Yeah.
Pan up and then, oh, look, it's cloud. That's a pretty straight cloud. Oh, that's the Death Star. Okay.
That's Snow Moon.
Yeah.
That's a really big space station. So that looks really cool. If you haven't seen it, Rogue One is supposed to be the story of how they steal the Death Star plans before A New Hope. So that should be, kind of a little rebellion guerrilla mission type thing. Seems pretty cool.
I wonder if we're going to get any tie-in or lead up or anything with Rebels for that.
Oh, that would be amazing. Because that's, well, given, I mean, it's a question of how fluid they're making that canon. I'm assuming they would steal, when they steal the Death Star plans, that's got to be right before A New Hope, because they're not going to let them flounder around, wherever they're going to be. But Rebels is supposed to be 5 years before A New Hope.
That's a long time span to cover then, yeah. Unless they start jumping around like they did for the Clone Wars, which didn't end up doing very well for them. So
who knows? But you never know if we'll see characters appear in Rebels before they are in Rogue One. Interaction with some of those, a little preview. There's certainly ways they could tie it together, which would be really cool.
Yeah. We do have a 1E spoiler, so we'll get to that in a second. But to go back again to Clone Wars, I actually looked up the list. And I started watching a few things. I had never actually seen the full length movie because just couldn't be bothered to care. So I watched the 2 or 3 episodes that come before it in the timeline, and then that movie, and then I'm getting ready to jump in and watch the episodes after it. It's actually kind of fun, you know. It doesn't have the same well, probably because it's a different era. It doesn't have the same classic feel that Rebels does, because Rebels pulls in the music just right. It's got the look and the feel, and it looks like all the toys and everything like that. But there's still characters that I enjoy watching. Bitter Obi-Wan and jumping around doing stuff. That's fun. And
cool.
it's just interesting that they do a little science fiction-y stuff. The first episode in the series with the cloak ship, and what you can do with the cloak ship, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing some more stuff like that.
I think publishing that chronology was a good idea. I think that definitely helped a lot. I know I was put off by the jumping around when I first tried to watch it, and I'm most of the way through an actual full watch. I keep wanting to say rewatch because, but it's not, because I only watched like a season or two. But I'm actually pretty much enjoying it. It's still not like you're saying. Basically what it comes down to is Clone Wars can be pretty good, but in the end it's like an expansion of the prequels. And I think Rebels is so good because it's really like an expansion of the original trilogy.
Right. So whatever it was based on, probably that much better. All right. It does make me a little disappointed that I hadn't done this 6 months ago, so that I would be interested to watch the missing episodes that were shown. Because it sounds like, based on the screen grabs of the random clones that show up in Rebels that have the little marks on their sides of their head where they might have gotten some chip removed or something. Might have had something to do with that. So whatever.
Well, I'm not there yet, but I know there was a season 6 that aired only on Netflix, and I don't remember. I only caught parts of it in the background of the hidden episodes, but I don't even remember any direct reference to that part in those episodes. So if that makes you feel better,
yeah, okay.
The lost episodes were more like an A-Team style story arc. It was really cool, and I think Dave Filoni said they're going to put them on StarWars.com at some point so that people can see them.
That makes sense. We get to watch it eventually then.
Yeah, they're like the irregulars, like clones that were defective or intentionally defective. Like they're experimenting with genetics, and in general they didn't like them, but so they put like this. They shoved them off in the corner and made them their own team, and they're called the Bad Batch. So yeah, it's pretty entertaining. I'd recommend it if they put those up.
All right, very good. Well, we've gone. We talked about Star Wars on the Star Trek podcast. Let's do a quick. Let's do a quick spoiler from Homefront 6. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Right.
Homefront 6.
I looked over this card. I thought, oh, good. That's kind of a good. That'd be a good kind of utility card. This is a conversion of something from 2E Premiere. Is that right? Or at least one of the earliest sets.
I think so. I think it's certainly either Premiere or Energize, but I think it's Premiere.
It's a second chance at life, and this was kind of like 2E's answer to Rescue, right? You can get card back.
Yeah. Which made me laugh that it's then being converted, because it was like, this is a 1E card, and then we're making a 2E version of it, but it's backwards compatible, so now it's another 1E version.
So it was not in Premiere. It was not in Energize.
Really?
Call to Arms? Yes, Call to Arms. 2C.
Okay.
Sorry, 3C33. So the old 2E card said, reveal your hand, choose an opponent to choose a card from your hand, discard it, and take any other non-interrupt card from your discard pile into hand. Destroy this event. So get something back, but at a cost of something that you already have in your hand. So how do you take that and make it like Rescue, which was play and take a card back from your discard pile, but different? The answer is
report.
Report. Discard a non-personnel card from hand to report a personnel from your discard pile. Discard event. Wow, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, and that's much better, than, especially with the cost of a card play, and this goes back to something that has been a recurring theme. The more we talk about revision and banning or errata of premier cards, is that the cost of a card play has gone up significantly, or the value of a card play since that came out. So using your card play for an event to get you a card back to your hand, which you're then going to have to play again, is less useful, especially if you're just getting a personnel, which kind of come out. But if you need that one personnel, that guy that has that last skill you need, and he died, this not only lets you play it to get him back, but he comes right into play, which.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, initially I thought, oh my gosh, I'm just going to explode everything from my discard pile. But you're right, it's a card play. So you're only going to do it once a turn, unless you're playing Parallax Arguers or some other nonsense that gives you an extra card play. But we don't have much of that. You get one card play, but you get somebody immediately right out of your discard pile and anywhere they can report. Rescue would be okay if you had a free report, could still be in your play your cards phase, but
right.
This anybody, doesn't matter if they're a free report or not, doesn't matter how they got there. As long as you have a non-personnel card in hand, you can swap it out for someone in your discard pile, and they're rearing to go. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is good. That's much better. I got to say, when I saw it, I was like, really, another rescue, which is another conversion of a card that we already have when we don't need a conversion. So, but this is actually really good, and it does update the 2E version to make it a little more 1E-esque. There's none of the showing your hand and picking a card and swapping a card. It's just discard a card, get a guy back, play him, boom. Much more 1E feel, and you move right along. So neat.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like this. It reminds me of that. Boy, the worst thing is remembering a card and not knowing what it's called and being really slow on the search engine. But there's a card that's an interrupt, and Sanchi.
Oh, Sanchi.
Yeah, if I know how to spell it, I would have found it already. It's an interrupt, right?
Yeah.
And it removes something from your discard pile. I can't find it. So this picture of the Klingon Chancellor dying and poking him with pain sticks to make sure he's dead. You know what I'm getting at?
Oh. Well, I found Sanchi.
Oh, that's not what I wanted, is it?
When you play an Anthropology Klingon, you may destroy this event and remove an event in your opponent's core from the game. And that is poking him with pain sticks.
All right.
Not the card you were thinking of?
No. There's something about taking a discard pile out of the discard. Some card out. Maybe I'm thinking of Fire Sculptor. All right. I thought there was something that takes a personnel out of the discard pile. You can't play them again. Maybe I'm thinking of a 2E card. Anyway, that would have been awesome to pair up with this, because then your opponent could just get somebody out of your discard pile. He's never coming back. Anyway, like I said, half remembering a card, not the greatest idea. But I really dig this card. I think I would find a way into a lot of decks, especially ones that require a couple key personnel. Somebody that you just want to make sure you have. The big name personnel on missions, especially the Delta Quadrant, or the Kingpin for your Galron or something. Just that Galron's coming back. Second chance. Here we go. Now my reporting engine's back again. Even the Queen, somebody like that, one of your counterparts. We've got some lore on here. It says, did you already read that while I was searching for a card?
I did not, but I can.
Yeah, you read that, and I'm going to search for some more.
All right. So this is an event, Second Chance at Life, TNG property logo, and the lore is Q gave Jean-Luc Picard the opportunity to change the reckless mistakes of his youth and live a life free from danger. And the collector info is 23V. So that's pretty good, actually. 23, and it's an event. And events are pretty high up in the alphabetical card list. So either that means we're getting a lot of cards, or we're not getting many cards after the event card time. Well, what are home fronts? I don't know. I guess it's varied, the size of home fronts. Sometimes they've been like a full 45 cards, and sometimes they've only been a couple of pages. But this would put it still squarely on the third page into verbs. So it's fairly late. That's a lot of cards.
That's a lot of cards. That's good. That means more cards in the pool. It's an event. It has a TNG property logo, and it's marked as a conversion. So I think that's pretty good. I think that'll fit well into any kind of sealed event that you're playing. I think it'll find its way into not only block decks, but big decks. Like I said, decks that you've got a couple of linchpins. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be especially useful in a block deck. It's a good one to have in home front.
Yeah, exactly.
For that, you only have a few key skills.
Man,
all right, good.
How quick would you pull that out if you saw it in a draft pack go by?
Oh yeah, especially if you picked up a mission that you need key people for, or you pulled a good card that goes with a mission, so you want to make sure you keep them out. Oh.
Even just to get back a body, late in the game after a couple people have died and you've got these, that third ship that you really don't need, pitch it to get somebody and go right now. That's good stuff.
Yeah,
that's much better than putting them under your deck and waiting until you draw into them again.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, good stuff. Homefront should be coming out soon then, I guess, if we're already getting spoilers. Maybe we'll see something on the front page soon.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, they traditionally come out in the summer-ish, right? So
yeah. Well, I mean, Gen Con-y, so August, that's a long ways away.
There you go. Well, yeah, that's a long ways away, and we've already seen, some people have already seen, if you've noted, if you've been surreptitious, see, now I'm going to give it away, and everybody's going to be like, no, we were the only ones who saw that. If you've taken a chance to look at the Gen Con schedule, there is a pre-release event for a new one set on that, and it's not Homefront. So,
not Homefront. So maybe if we get something between now and then, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. Anything else to discuss this evening?
No, I think that's it. I think we're both just barely recovering from Celebration Brain. I am going to make an effort to go to the 2E tournament this coming weekend. But I think you said that you're probably not going to make it. I think this is our Strange Bedfellows release event.
Nice.
So I'm going to try and find some time this week where I've already booked up to actually print some of those cards and throw them in a deck. Maybe. Actually, I think some of them will work well in an existing deck, which I think might be the easiest way to go.
Well, as always, I mean, I made it down for triples last time, so maybe I can. Although second edition usually wraps up a lot faster than first edition, so part of the reason I came down was that all the kids were already in bed by the time you guys finished. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes on Saturday.
We'll try to stretch it out for you.
Yeah, right. All right, man. Sounds good.
All right. Well, we're out of intelligence for this week. Thanks to everybody at Celebration for a great weekend, and thanks to everybody who came out for the scrapbooking party this weekend. Everybody who is happy with their promos, you can thank our slave labor, voluntary labor. Yes, and of course, Warp 11 for their awesome theme song. I am Sir Rogue,
and I'm Sir Dan,
and I will remind you all to expand your power in the universe.
And I shall draw to end.